How can I be happy in my marriage? It's a question we get all the time. This is somewhat a misguided question because I don't think that marital happiness should be the end goal. If happiness is the target, it will most likely lead to disappointment. Now, I'm certain that there were many happy moments in the early days of your marriage as you lived out the honeymoon season. The shock happens when you have your first breakdown and you quickly realize that marriage is not all sunshine and rainbows. You see, happiness is a state, meaning that it's an emotion that comes and goes with the highs and the lows, the good times and the bad. Happiness shouldn't be the foundation of your marriage because the emotion of happiness is extremely transient. Recalling the first 29 years of my own marriage, I'll be the first to tell you that there have been many days and seasons where I didn't feel the quote-unquote happy emotion. Marital happiness is a byproduct of two people feeding the marriage with the right food, the right ingredients. Happiness is the ultimate privilege between a husband and a wife. I once heard that happiness is an inside job, meaning that happiness comes when you discover the sense of meaning in your own marriage. Meaning and purpose are what sustain a marriage, not mere happiness. Author and psychologist Jordan Peterson said this: "There's lots of times in your life that you're not going to be happy. You want to have something meaningful. That's the boat that will take you through the storm." Peterson goes on to say that happiness is always to be found in the journey uphill, not the fleeting sense of satisfaction awaiting at the next peak. I love this saying because it forces a couple to find the net positive in every uphill climb, in every disagreement, and even every adversity. It's thinking big picture, thinking macro. I was reminded of a story about a conversation this daughter was having with her dad. The daughter was facing some adversities in the college life and was completely overwhelmed. The dad had her step into the kitchen and he began boiling some water. He poured the hot water into a cup of fresh coffee grounds. He added some creamer and had his daughter take a sip. The daughter looked at him and said, "I don't understand. I don't get it. What's the point?" The dad replied, "Daughter, life is all about creating something new. The coffee grains took the adversity of the heat and used it as an opportunity to bring something useful into existence." You see, when your marriage becomes challenging, when adversity leans on your doorbell, how will you use those moments to strengthen your marriage? Well, you take your values, you take your loves, your faith, and you let them lead you into something greater. When your marriage gets hard, and it will, what does it become? So if your marriage is becoming something, then it's realizing that piece by piece, brick by brick, every circumstance provides you with the tool to make a beautiful and sustaining relationship. A delicious cup of coffee. The life lessons, the failing forwards, learning to trust each other, you eventually learn that you can take those boiling moments and can use them for your good, for your advantage. Finding meaning in your marriage is the high goal. Happiness is the lower goal. I like to offer 2 ideas that kill the happiness in any marriage. These 2 things you should avoid. The first is this: avoid taking your spouse for granted. This is one way to secure happiness in your marriage. Make a habit of doing something often to woo and to win your spouse's heart. It might be a thoughtful text message, a romantic gesture, a phone call telling them that you're thinking about them, or even just a sustained hug or kiss. You see, couples who have taken their spouse for granted have stopped focusing on the things they love and appreciate about their spouse. The second one is this: Avoid comparing your marriage with other marriages. Theodore Roosevelt was right when he said, "Comparison is the thief of joy." When you compare your marriage with somebody else's, you're robbing yourself of the joy in your own marriage. So I say, burn the scorecard of comparison. Fix your eyes on your spouse and build the marriage that God designed for you. A happy marriage is built day by day through the small actions that show our love and appreciation. A happy marriage is built on gratitude and prayer. A happy marriage is built by focusing on what you have instead of what you don't have. And the good news is this: any couple can learn the habits that create a happy marriage.